So after we built our cyc wall and finished that off, I got the genius idea to build a lighting grid. The lighting grids are going to really help us out with the placement of lights and our cyc wall, where I don't have to put stands and boom arms and all that kind of mess out here. So I can just rig and hang lights in the ceiling. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to teach you how to build a lighting grid with your shooting cyc wall for video and photography. So what we're going to use to build our lighting grid above is we have 6061 aluminum pipe, and it's around schedule 80, which means this pipe is going to have a thick interior wall. Now it's going to be a little bit heavier, but it's at least going to have a thick wall. That way it's going to help us not bend. So when we put a lot of weight on this, it won't bend so much. That's why we're going to get a thicker Schedule 80 wall. Okay? When you buy aluminum pipe, often referred to as Speedrail, you're going to buy it in 20-foot or 6-meter sections, and then you're going to have to cut it yourself. So we're going to have to take this 20-foot pipe, pointing down, this 20-foot or 6-meter long aluminum pipe, and we're going to have to cut it down to size, which we're going to cut we're going to cut five 4-meter, 12-foot pieces. That's going to be our cross pieces. And then we're going to leave the others at 20 feet or 6 meter, and we're going to run it long ways around the studio. So we'll end up having 2 shooting bays, a cyc wall photography, a backdrop here for photography or video, or we can move the backdrop out of the way and just do tabletop stuff in this bay here, or product photography here with backgrounds and everything else. So that is our plan, and I'm going to walk you through. We're not going to see every step of the way, but I'll walk you through some of the materials I use and how you can do this. So with that being said, let's go cut some pipe. So to make our grid, we're going to have to cut some aluminum pipe. And you can cut any aluminum pipe with a simple circular saw, either electric or battery operated, and a high tooth blade. So we're going to cut now. I need my sunglasses. Just wait a minute.
Do I need cut?
Just like that, it's so simple. Okay, so just some of the materials that we're gonna use. We're gonna make this very simple. Anybody can do. We're gonna use some anchor bolts, okay? We're gonna have a drill, something that can go through concrete since our place is all concrete and brick. So we're gonna have to have a drill bit and a drill that we can drill through concrete and place our anchor bolts into. The next thing is we're gonna have to have Cheeseboroughs or scaffolding. What is the official name of this? These are scaffolding fittings, and they come in two different types. They either come in swivel, that can go a whole 360, or they're gonna come in fixed, 90-degree fixed, and they're not gonna move. I decided just to get all swivels because if the pipe's a little bit off, I'm able to swivel it just a little bit and put it in position that I want. Or when I'm readjusting pipe, or maybe I want to put up an extra piece at an angle, I'm able to do that. And then I'm going this way with my pipe when I'm fixed this way to the grid. You'll see how that all works in a minute. The third piece that we're going to have, and I'll show you that here in a minute, is what you call Speedrail floor flange, okay? Speedrail is what you use to make hand railing, at least in the United States. There are 3 companies out there, most famous, that's Speedrail itself, New Rail, and Hollinger Fittings, which I think Hollinger actually owns Speedrail now. But you can use these handrail fittings to do just about anything, from car rigs to light rigs to building a grid itself. So I'm going to show you that piece here in a minute because I've already put one in the wall, and then we're going to see the rest of the construction of the lighting grid from there. So we've climbed up to the ladder, we're up on our wall, and we're ready to look at our Speedrail fitting, even though this is not Hollinger, this is another company, but I strongly suggest that you buy Hollinger or New Rail Speedrail fittings, okay? This is a foot flange, and it's got 4 holes there, so you can actually put it in the floor and then run your pipe up. But we're gonna use this in the wall and then run our pipe across. Then we're gonna put our Cheeseboroughs and then put the rest of our pipe in a, let's call this horizontal and let's call this vertical. So we drilled in our 4 holes and we mounted our anchor bolt. And then something else you're gonna need is an Allen here, and that's gonna hold that pipe into place. And then you'll see us build the rest of the grid from there. Another tool that we're gonna use is some kind of ratcheting wrenches. You're gonna really like this when you're up in the ceiling instead of some other kind of box wrench that doesn't ratchet, and then you have to take it off and redo. You're gonna really want this. This is gonna help you with time and efficiency. So we have 2 sizes. This is 17 mil and 19 mil. The 19 millimeter is going to go to our baby grid clamps. That's what we're gonna use on our lighting fixtures. So we'll put that up, tighten it down, and we'll put a light up in the sky and hang off of that. I'll show you that later. Now it's mostly about doing the Cheeseboroughs and getting the grid up into the sky, and that's gonna require 17 millimeter. Okay, so we got our cross pieces all up. Now we're gonna put our vertical pieces. So we put our horizontal in. Now we're gonna put our vertical pieces up here. And we're gonna adjust some things, and then we'll see how well it works out. So just keep watching as we're working. Okay, so we got our vertical and our horizontal. Our vertical and our horizontal pieces put up. We only put in 2 vertical pieces right now because these, again, are 20-footers, 6-meter pieces. This is the biggest piece, right? So we're attaching everything for the horizontal, the 5 horizontal pieces here. We attach those to the wall first, then we put up our 20-footers with the Cheeseboroughs, okay? One more thing that I have to note of what we did here is we put another Speedrail foot floor up here in the ceiling. Why we did that is we're going to take a small piece of pipe and connect it from the floor flange to our Speedrail here with the Cheeseborough. Same thing over on this end. We did that so we can pull it up just a little bit and the ceiling can take some of the weight instead of just the walls. That way we're not going to get any bowing. We shouldn't get too much bowing the way the Speedrail is with the Schedule 80 to begin with. It's just a little extra added support. Now it's not just the wall holding it, but the ceiling is going to hold it in too. And we did that with the same anchor bolts and the same floor flange. So now, before I go any further adding any more weight to this, I'm going to put my down pieces in first, okay? So earlier you saw me cut 2 small pieces of pipe and telling you how easy it is to cut aluminum pipe. So that's exactly what these 2 small pieces are for. It's for our down. And then we're going to attach it and push it up into the wall so it doesn't bow any like that. Another little quick tip is if you have sharp edges on your pipe, which you're probably going to after you saw them in half, just take a little bit of sandpaper and go around that, rub them on some concrete, something like that, and then you get a nice smooth edge. So I'm going to find the smoothest edge and have that be on the down end so nobody gets cut or any metal in their fingers. So this seems to be the smoothest edge. This one I'm going to attach into the coupler up there in the wall so nobody gets hurt, even though it's fairly smooth, as you can see. All right, here we go. Oh, I need my Allen key. First, I'm going to start with just simply putting my pipe in the floor flange, tighten down the Allen. Then I can attach my Cheeseborough. I'll loosen this one just to make sure to get them real flush in there, like so. And you see how it all just kind of locked in there as soon as I did a little maneuvering. And then now I can tighten this down. This is where your ratcheting box wrench is going to come in real handy. Like I was saying before, I can just do this and I don't have to go. That's a nightmare. So a good ratcheting wrench or a scaffolding ponger is going to work wonders for you. Now that that's tight, I'm going to just loosen this Allen up here. Make sure it's flush to the ceiling and then tighten back down. And then I am going to loosen here. Just a little bit, just to get some motion, and then push up. And that should get rid of a whole lot of bowing on this. As you can see here, I am pulling myself up off the ladder. and I'm not a small guy. That's 180 pounds that this one pipe is holding. This will be fine to hold any light. A maximum light like a 12K HMI, an M90 or something like that is barely gonna be 100 pounds. You could easily put that on this. Distribute it between 2 pipes and you'd be great. I'm not putting anything that big on this, but you could. The whole goal of rigging a light grid is to be able to carry more weight than you're actually going to put on it. When I put 5 lights up here, that might start to get to about 100 pounds, okay? Probably nowhere near, maybe like 50 pounds. I have small lights. Okay, so we're gonna go down and we're gonna do the same thing on the other end, and then we'll put in the rest of our vertical pieces. Here we go. So while we're here, another smart thing that we did is we ran power. Since we didn't have any overhead lighting, we already had receptacles for overhead lighting. What we decided to do was just run power from those receptacles and put in a box. So we put in 2 boxes on either end, so we have power up here. Now we don't have to run a whole lot of stingers or extension cords to power our lights. They will plug right in there and then hang right off there. We put them in the middle so we can put lights over here and lights over there and lights over there, and maybe one small extension cord will get us all the way. Just stuff to keep in mind when you're actually building your own studio for whatever it is, for photography or for video, just to think about it, think it all through before you decide to go in and start building, especially if you don't have a lot of experience. Now, I worked 17 years in the film industry. I've built plenty of grids. I've been a rigging grip. I've also been a set grip. I've also been a best boy, a key grip, a gaffer, an electrician. I've done all that work. So I kind of understand how to go about building a light grid. So if you have just a little bit less experience than me or something, just think it through. Even me with all the experience in the world of doing this kind of stuff, I think every step through exactly how it needs to be. Because there are certain things like this horizontal pipe here. This pipe has to be cut shorter than the wall to accept the flange and to get over the anchor bolts. So you have to cut it a little bit shorter so it has some back and forth. Then you can put your flange on and then put it on the anchor bolts and then tighten it down. If it's too short, it's gonna come out of the flange. If it's too long, you'll never get it onto the wall, okay? Those are those little bits and pieces where experience will help you. But if you don't have a lot of experience like that, think it all through. Talk to contractors, other friends, people who do buildings, some people, grips, gaffers, people who actually work in the film industry. They'd be more than happy to help you out with building your own grid. Okay, same thing. Now I'm tight, I'm gonna loosen it up. Push. And double check and make sure everything's tight. And we're looking good. And there we are. So now we got our down pieces. We're all secure to the wall, secure to the ceiling. Maybe later I add 2 more of these just to help out. But for now, we're gonna leave it as is. And we're gonna put in the rest of our vertical pieces here, our other 20-foot verticals. And you'll see that happen, and then we'll take the final result and see a light hung up here, okay? Okay, so we got everything put into place. We got our Cheeseboroughs all down. We got our verticals, and our horizontals, and our uprights holding everything. There's some slight adjustments, a little off measurement that we missed, but that's okay. We can fix everything later with some simple adjustments. But primarily, we got it up there and it's safe. And now it's time to hang a light on it. So I've tested it out with my body weight, hung on it a little bit to make sure that everything's safe and supportive. And now we're gonna put a light up there, just a simple 1K baby, 1000 watt Fresnel tungsten light. All right, test everything else out. We wanna test our circuits out while we're up there because I haven't tested the circuits yet. And we'll see, but what we're gonna use is this baby grid clamp. A little bit smaller than most. You can buy these from in the United States, Canada, and Europe, and Australia, other countries like that. You can buy this from Modern. They make some fantastic baby grid clamps. You can also get this from Matthews Studio Equipment, Modern Studio Equipment, and American Studio Equipment. Real simple. You can find these anywhere. They're gonna cost you about 20, 25 USD. These are a little bit different, so we're gonna test these out and see how safe they are. So I've got my 19 millimeter ratcheting box wrench. That's what's gonna fit this nut here. So we'll hang that up there and show you, and then we'll put the light up there, all right? Real simple, like in Cheeseboroughs. Just gonna go over the pipe and tighten down. Actually, change my mind. I'll put it a little bit more away from the wall because I want a nice even flood of light on the wall. Plus, it's gonna put me near my circuit breaker a little bit more. A little on it, make sure it ain't gonna go anywhere. Looks pretty good, pretty tight. And we'll come on down, grab our light and our safety and plug her up.
Stop or not? Hmm?
No. Alright, what we have here is a dog collar. That is a nickname for this. Dog collar, pretty much wire rope with a clasp there, quick and easy. It's not a tie-down locker. It's just a safety to make sure that when we put our light up there, if anything goes wrong, it'll stay fixed to the grid. First thing I'm going to do is kind of unravel my cable so I don't have any issues when I'm up on top of the ladder. I'm going to leave my yoke on the top position. That's where I'm hanging from, hanging below. Not going on a stand. If I was going on a stand, the yoke would be down here. But since I'm hanging down, leaving the yoke in the top position. Once I kind of get it tight, I'm gonna go ahead and throw my dog collar on there. So if anything goes wrong, the light's not gonna fall. And now I can loosen my light ever so slightly and pan it into position. Tighten it down. Open the barn doors up. These actually have a locking barn door, so I don't need to safety those, but if you don't have a locking barn door, you should safety that. Even if you do have a locking barn door, you should safety it anyways. Normally I would tie all this up somehow so it's not hanging wires. And this outlet doesn't work. Oh. Stupid. I don't have a light bulb in. No glow. So since we just moved to this location, I took the globe out for traveling, so I didn't damage it in any way. So I'm just gonna have to pop that back in. Quick and easy. Don't touch the globe. All right, now we should be without failure. Hopefully this works. Boom. Okay, there's our light hung up. It's a 1K baby. That's why a tungsten color. Outlet works. Baby grid clamp works. And the whole grid itself works. Now this is just one light. We're gonna put a lot more lights on here. We'll do that in another video, but that's how you build a light grid for your studio for photography and video. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video.